The illusion has become real, and the more real it's becoming, the more desperate they want it. Genuinely ask yourself a question. When was the last time when you ran out of money? When was the last time when you thought that you have to change something, right? When was the last time when you saw someone that is doing very, very well and you kind of promised to yourself that you can also do well and you're gonna find a way to get things in order? You know how people say that you have to save money for your retirement because the life will simply get more expensive, the inflation will go higher, and all of your savings will shrink their buying power. Well, I run the numbers for you, so essentially you will know exactly how much more expensive the current items that you're buying, such as bread, coffee, chocolate, how much more expensive these items will be in 20 years. Guys, it hasn't been that clear why some people are making money now in this current economic cycle and why others are struggling to make even a simple wage. Why? Most people currently are struggling to understand the value. Why a PhD professor in some of the biggest Ivy League schools is making less money than OnlyFans creator? Because the value provided from the OnlyFans creator is valued much higher. People are willing to pay more for more days in a row for the content creator versus paying for school, university, college, etc. This is a very drastic example, but this is probably the clearest example to understand that if you want to make money right now, you have to understand what is the value that is in huge demand, how to learn to provide this value, how to price the value, and how to deliver the value. I gave you this crazy example because this is the actual truth. If you look at the stats, the OnlyFans is one of the fastest growing company, which means forget about what is the actual industry behind it. Think of it as an operational business. OnlyFans employees are the creators. So if you have more and more employees, more and more people signing up for the platform to work for the platform, this boosts the revenue. And these people are, fighting to join the platform. It's not like the platform is reaching out to them, which means that the opportunity that provides is matching the huge market demand. Okay, we're business people. We don't engage with what is the niche, what is the industry. We don't be judgmental. Everything that grows fast, that has a huge demand, that has a gap up opportunity, we want to learn from it, right? And there is no marketing, they don't promote, they don't run ads, right? When you have a business that grows so fast, without marketing, without paid ads, without CGI, without absolutely anything, anyone even, promoting it, we have to join, versus every other business that spends billions of dollars destroying its margin, especially the e-commerce brands. We make $50 million this year revenue. How much profit, guys? 4 million. Now, the margins 80%, 40%, 60% of the margin goes straight to marketing, ads, content creator, brand deals, whatsoever. So you need to understand, to identify where is the value now. Where is the value now? Can you learn the value if you don't possess the knowledge? And can you provide the same value, more niche, more detailed, to differentiate yourself with anyone else who is offering this service as an individual or agency? And this is how you are staying away from people who can't realistically make any wage in this economy. Because the attention economy is shocking for a lot of people who simply thought that the business will go as usual. When people started searching information on the chatbots, no longer in Google search, all the people who have been collecting passive income through blogs, writing articles, affiliate marketing inside the articles, posting products, making reviews, recommendations, they saw their traffic that has been absolutely steady growing for the last 20 plus years going completely down. And all their blogs, all their articles, nothing has been ranking. So this again was the wake-up call that all the businesses from the previous decade at least are no longer working, and these people have to adjust with providing value. What was the value? Well, they came up with extensions. Extension that summarizes YouTube videos. Extension that summarizes or make recommendations of articles. Extensions that give you faster answers to the questions that you usually search. Instead of reading a 5,000 word blog post about the top credit cards in January 2026, you're going to use a small extension or small summarizer on the side, giving you 5 points, 5 cards, the most important line, what is the bonus, the requirement, and when is the final date you can apply for, right? This is something that Google search came up with, which is an AI summary, which destroyed all the paid Google ad space, because the first line will always be AI summary, will no longer be the paid ad that will show the closest possibility of answer or thematic reply of your query. The business is changing even for the big guys, even for people who used to make tons of money completely passively. So if these people who used to make $100,000, $200,000, $400,000 a month just by people having going to their sites, naturally getting traffic from Google, they lost their revenue, most of which. Then you kind of wonder where this leaves you, a person who didn't make this much money, who was earning active income. This is the moment when you have to go, and you probably start from the get-go alongside these guys, and learn how to identify the current demand for particular value on the market, how to identify where to deliver the value from, what the value requirements are, right? This should be a metric in a way in which you can measure the value that you provide, and then you should be able to price the value accordingly, according to the market. Because now with the AI, the tools that people produce are very, very similar. They use the same prompts, they use the same ChatGPT or GPT LLMs. They're using almost the same UI, user interface tools, to create the visuals. They're using the same marketing channels. So the market is kind of saturated unless you go into a niche that is not sexy or popular. The niche that is kind of forgotten from the general public. It's pretty known from the experts, but they really don't want to get into this, right? People who are scouring the daily volume of the keyword search, they know exactly that some people are looking, for example, the top chimney cleaners, right? No one cares about this, but they know, they have the data, the geeks, they know exactly what keywords for what kind of businesses, products or services is currently in huge demand, but they don't really, they just prefer to do something else. They don't want to focus on this particular product or service. So what is the clear path here? Clear path will be, of course, to find and partner with some of these people who have the data, know how to analyze or identify the incoming trends, and you are going to be the builder and the promoter, right? You're going to be the person who constructs the tool and promotes the tool, and your partner will help you identify what kind of a tool it's needed on the market. Sure, you can do it by one-person business, but I believe it's too much work, and definitely you're going to burn out. You need a partner, and you need one of these people who have the data, who's knowledgeable, to scour the net, find something that is just popping, and you can make a very good partnership. This is your very easy step to move away from just shooting in the middle of nowhere, without particular target, without goal, without knowing exactly what you're trying to achieve and who you're trying to serve or provide value with. Finding value and finding who to offer this value is the two-step process, which it's easy, right? It's like looking for someone that you can, let's say you replace tires. You drive around the city, you look for somebody who stopped on the side who has like a flat tire or something. This is how easy it is. You know your value, you replace tires, and you find somebody to offer the value which has a flat tire and you don't have spare one. This is how easy the process could be broken down into two steps. But people get crazy focused on 17 different businesses, 12 different niches, try to identify something that is already so much saturated. Forget about it. Getting an average inflation rate that we had for the last 20 years. We took the same exact average increase year by year and we applied this and we got the final results. So a bread currently is selling for around $3. In 20 years, the expected increase in price of a bread will be 64%, or essentially $4.92. It's not as crazy as it sounds, right? A lot of people probably expected that a bread will cost around $9 or $10. Let's see a bottle of water. So a bottle of water will effectively sell at 64% as well. We took in the average. Currently, a bottle of water is around $1.50. We're talking about 500 milliliters. In 20 years, the same bottle of water of 500 milliliters will cost you $2.46. Again, not crazy difference, right? It's not something that will break the bank. Chocolates. A chocolate bar today is selling on average around $4. We're talking about 180 grams, 200 grams, depending on the brand, depending on the chocolate, but this is an average. Applying the same 64% increase, this will give us $6.56. I would say this is probably the most noticeable. Simply mathematically, the higher the original price, the higher the percentage increase will be. If you look at we started with $3, then we moved to $1.50. So the lower the initial retail price at the current economic situation, the smaller the difference it is. So this is why we're seeing that the chocolate from $4 actually has an increase of $2.56 versus we saw the original, the bread with $1.92, and then we have the water with effectively with 96 cents difference increase, which again, greater the price, even if you have the same percentage increase based on inflation, you're still going to be paying more for more expensive items. This is why I see a lot of people sometimes are buying more and more Rolexes, more and more like jewelry, more and more cars that are limited edition, not the regular cars, because they will simply most likely either appreciate from the demand or appreciate from the inflation. Even if there is no such a demand for, let's say, SLR, McLaren, Mercedes, not so many people looking to buy the car, because the car is limited edition, point number one, and point number two, because the value of the money is going down, and the car, because it's limited edition, count as an asset that generates appreciative value. This still means that the value of the money will decrease based on time value. And the last example that I pull out is the coffee. I believe most people drink coffee. So currently we're having a cup of coffee selling for around $5. Average cup of coffee, I don't know, 200 milliliters or so. We're having $5, no brands. Price in 20 years will be $8.20, which it's a lot. It's the biggest increase in this particular product category we picked. It's $3.20. Like I mentioned, the higher the price, the higher the original price, the higher will be the bump based on the same 64% increase in inflation. But you need to understand that there are people today who are paying $10 a coffee every single day, every single cup of coffee, not day. I think there's a couple of brands who are selling, small coffee for like $8 or $9. So it's not a game-changing stuff, right? I believe a lot of people, when you click on the video, expected to see some crazy numbers, maybe $20 coffee, $10 bread. You probably expected $5 a small bottle of water, probably expected $10 for a small chocolate bar. But again, this is estimated progression of the inflation based on average that we saw for the last 20 years, adjusted with the next 20 years. Maybe I missed some of the more or less popular products that you guys usually purchase, but I believe this is something that applies to most people. Most people eat bread, right? Regardless of the form or shape, most people, if not all of them, buy water. Maybe some people drink at home, I don't know. Most people buy chocolates for themselves, for the kids, and for girlfriends as well. And almost everyone I know personally drinks coffee. So This is the prices. Next 20 years, I think we don't have to worry about that. Let me know if you want me to make next 40 or 50 or 6 years. What the heck could actually happen? And this is a rough estimate. If we presume the Federal Reserve will print the same amount of money, the Federal Reserve will follow the same exact cycles of quantitative tightening and easing, right? Which most likely ain't gonna happen because they already finished this year with $40 billion fresh cash printed out of thin air. So they're gonna most likely continue. If you look at the chart of the Federal Reserve printing cycles, every new cycle they print more money. So these numbers, I would say they are conservative, but the ballpark will be somewhere around there. So we ain't gonna see some crazy numbers. We ain't gonna see bread at $20 or at $10 a small bottle, or chocolate at $20 or coffee at $20 a cup. I don't really see that happening, but of course the deviation probably will be ballpark of what I mentioned, with a greater probably estimates of the upper echelon. You might see maybe $1.5–2 more expensive than the prices we predicted. When was the last time when you promised something to yourself and you didn't follow the promise? So you think you're broke? You have to look at the people from the Federal Reserve. They're getting paid little to none. The starting minimum salary is $36,400, which is basically around $3,000 a month. The crazy part, the minimum requirement to get hired is that you have to possess a PhD in economics. Let's run the numbers. You have different pay grade. There are people who are exempt and people non-exempt from overtime. It's very, very strict. So let's run the numbers, and I promise you, after watching this video, you're not gonna feel the poorest guy in the room. Let's run the numbers. So first of all, you wanna go to federalreserve.gov careers-salary. If you scroll down the careers and the open market positions, we're having two separate categories. You have a grade FR and you have a grade WE. So of course I have to Google it, right? So the difference between the FR and the WE is the expertise and the usual work that is required or part of the daily duties of each of these positions. So basically the first one, FR, are normal positions that are in office, white collar, economists, research assistants, etc. Right? The second, the WE, are non-exempt, which essentially have a different ranks. These are more you have a tech support, that kind, more broader positions. A lot of these positions do allow you to have overtime, but as we saw, there is a minimum and there is a maximum. It's very crazy that they put the actual range. So if you see the lowest pay over here, the minimum will be for the lowest grade FR-16, which is $36,400. If you're in the same grade of education, of knowledge, of expertise, your top maximum is only $44,000 per year. Don't quote me on this, probably some cashier in Target makes this much money without possessing PhD, which is crazy. In the next level, you got like $3,000 higher base salary, and you got around $16,000 higher upper maximum. To scroll down, remember all these positions require for the FR require PhD in economics. Why they require PhD? Because they want to make sure that you possess advanced skills and knowledge in the industry. Not to mention, you have to have published papers, you have to be cited, you have to have papers that are on the current economic issues, something that is currently important, currently trending. You cannot post a paper on why John Maynard Keynes was pro-government to essentially step in when the economy is going bad, right? You cannot write something about historic events. If we scroll down, you will see that the top highest level, the highest grade, the person who possesses the most knowledge, probably years of experience, the base is $150,100, and the absolute maximum this person could be paid is $295,000. This, in my opinion, sounds normal to be the base salary for everyone working in the Federal Reserve, right? When you hear the Federal Reserve, these people kind of important. They work with very important data. They have access to very important economic data, advanced knowledge, right? You would think that these people, because they have to have superior knowledge, they have to have superior skills to analyze the data, predict the future of the economic cycle, make plans, and based on these plans, they create a economic policy, and then we have the FOMC meetings and so on and so forth, right? The decisions about the interest rates, the quantitative tightening, easy. I'm not going to be boring you with all this information, but this, in my opinion, should be the base salary, 150, and there shouldn't be an upper maximum, because remember, this is not a government institution. The Federal Reserve, it's a private institution. It's not government institution, which means that the pay should be very well, right? As a private institution, the pay grade should be higher. The conditions should be much more flexible. It's not like you're applying for government position, which is very, very hard, very, very strict, The pay is going to be always low because, the government has a lot of employees, has budget to follow. If you scroll down to the second types of positions in the employment wage structure, which is WE, the more broader employment, like tech support, etc., the base is higher. They're starting at 40,300 with maximum of 66,200. Maybe 2-3K, 4K difference, not a big difference. The absolute max and top you can earn is actually lower. Starts at 120 and the upper limit is 197,000. Which again, this is very little money. I don't know how much work it is. In fact, to be honest, might be little work, might be chilling most of the time, and you have to crunch the numbers once a month. But again, by default, I believe not only me, but a lot of you expect these guys to be making lots of money, at least on paper. Because if you look at the bottom of the report, it says this last updated is November, 21st of November 2025. So it's just recently updated. I cannot imagine what were the salaries prior to the virus, and probably much lower. Very interesting. So this is why don't feel poor regardless of the job that you're working. Don't judge people, seeing them with suits, with nice clothes, going to work with briefcases, etc. Obviously, you don't really know who makes the big chunk of money, right? You might be thinking, imagine you're working, whatever, some of these operators, some of these how we call, like the mobile operator plans. You go to Spectrum. Let's say you're working Spectrum, right? I don't know what is the salary. You make like 90K, something like this. Overtime, promotion, bonuses. You sell some phones, etc. Right? And you're traveling in the subway, and next to you have some guy 3-piece suit. You have winter coat, briefcase, working in the Federal Reserve. You may be thinking this guy is making $500,000. But in fact, though, if the guy is like the pay grade, like the first pay grade, the level of actual advancement of knowledge, this person, unless he's at the level 6, you will be making more money than him. And this is where people get things wrong. They think that it's a lack of time. I don't have time to do it. A lack of skills. I don't know how to do it. People say that they have lack of patience. I cannot wait to get rich. I cannot wait actually to start a business, to build, to grow, to expand, which it's all kind of fake excuses of simply not spending enough time to make the strategy that applies to your own life. Because you can always find time, because you can always get inspired by looking someone else's business. Think about a lady last year. She was selling air in cans. You open a can, like a small, soda can, and there is nothing inside. She made millions selling nothing. There was a guy 4 years ago. He was selling on iTunes 3 minutes and 50 seconds a song that was nothing on it. You listen, empty sound. It was something like Calmness, named Calmness, and you play it and it's nothing. You have to pay for it, like $8, $7.99, something like this, and people bought it. The guy made millions. if this example doesn't give you the wake-up call that anything could be bought and sold, if it's an original idea, and if you find early adopters, which is two key concepts, very simple. If you break down what the business is, first of all, original idea, something that, you know, you sit for the first time, you're kind of curious, it's kind of cool, it's not your thing, but you're very, very interested to see how it works or how it feels or how it tastes if it's a food. So you spend money. This is how all the garbage sold on TikTok works. I was so curious. I see these people, you know, building businesses from nothing on TikTok shop. And I asked Perplexity, why the hell people buy all this crap, right? It's absolute garbage. Like, why would you buy shoes for like $8? The shoes is the most important item that you have. Your feet might hurt, you know, you might get hurt, you might slip, you might fall. Always buy, if you're going to spend money on something, always buy nice shoes. Nice, comfy, very good materials, breathable materials. Don't spend, you know, tons of money on jackets and sweaters and stuff that you can just wear a couple of days here and there. Shoes, you always wear shoes. And then I asked Perplexity, why people buy all this crap on TikTok shop? Let's go back to the question. Perplexity said that the gamification on TikTok makes people to fall into the trap of having fun, funny video here, funny video there. In between, there is a stupid product that is stupidly cheap. So in the same sense of being gullible and being brain rot to keep scrolling, in the same sense, people follow the trajectory of, oh, you know, that's a funny item. Let me buy this stupid shit, right? Because it's stupidly cheap. So the whole sense of let's sell something stupid to people who fall for stupid jokes, for item that is genuinely has no real application or quality checks, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And I'm not cheating on the entrepreneurs who are making money out of it. Shout out to them. You know, these people are working. They don't wait for stimulus checks. But the main concept is that I'm giving you this for an example to understand that you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to come up with something brand new. You don't have to offer supreme quality, right? You don't have to build the actual product. These people are not building the products. Everything is coming from China to begin with, right? So business these days, especially in e-commerce, you are the middleman. All of these people are the middlemen. They're not manufacturing, designing the products. They're just selling the products. So this makes your job even easier as an entrepreneur in 2026 and forward. Because a lot of these businesses require marketing skills. Essentially how to market the products, how to present the product in a form of entertainment. 99% of commercials from the creators on TikTok represent the products in an entertaining way. They don't present the products in a salesy way, not how usually the old commercials used to work, right? So this makes your job even easier. If you're good in sales, you can start as a salesperson until you actually generate enough capital to start your own business. But there is no drawbacks. Learning this skill will never hurt you. Learning how to sell, it will always help you. It will always help you in your business side, in your personal life. Learning how to sell will teach you how to negotiate. Even when you record a one-sided video, like me recording right now, this helps you to create your own profile, to lay out your thoughts, organize them in real time, and being able to deliver a message that will reach out to the other part of the camera, right? This also helps you not only to express and send the message, but also helps you to answer questions that people might have. They haven't asked you yet about that, but you already know what they're gonna ask you, and you're gonna over-deliver. You heard that the biggest companies in the world believe in over-delivering. Meaning, when you buy a product, you expect the product to be this much good, probably 5 out of 10. The best companies believe in over-delivering. You receive the product and product is so good, the product is like actually 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And people are so passionate. People thinking, oh my gosh, this product is so good. They probably gonna raise the prices soon because a lot of people like myself will find out that this is underpriced product. So people will go immediately and buy even more. This is how you get repeatable customers, repeat orders. And the repeatable customers or pitching your current customers is the easiest customers or orders that you're going to get because people already know you. They know the product, they know the service, and they trust you. Every time when they try something new line of products, new colors, new shapes, they're buying the trust. They don't buy the actual new design. Think about Apple, right? You don't really care. If I ask you what is the difference between the latest iPhone and the previous iPhone, I bet you most people will have no clue. So why people spend more money every single year on new device or every 2 years on new device? Because they buy the trust, because they don't have to study what is the memory, what is the camera, what is the chips, what are the processor, what are the new apps included in the software, what is the new iOS. No, they buy the trust. They go out and they install the latest upgrades because they buy the trust. They trust in Apple. This is what you probably have to understand. Building the sales skills, generate capital by selling someone else's products if you don't have capital to begin with. After you generate capital, you start your own business. You're selling your products by yourself. You're starting yourself, one business, one person. And then you hire other people. You teach them how to sell like you. And this is how you automate your business. No PhD required.